Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Wednesday morning. It's Stephen Whiteside here from the uptrend.com. In the pre-market this morning, things are fairly quiet. We've got CPI numbers coming out at 8:30 this morning in the U.S., and then later on this morning, we've got the Bank of Canada coming out with their interest rate decision, and we expect them, of course, to drop interest rates once again, which will probably put additional pressure on the Canadian dollar. Now, in this presentation, we're looking at technology stocks, and hopefully, you've been locking in some profits up here. You do not need to completely liquidate a position unless you do get kicked out, but it's just prudent to be locking in profits up here, selling into strength. And of course, stocks usually fall much faster than they rise. So that's something to always keep in the back of your mind. Now, the NASDAQ 100 currently looks like this, and you can see we now have a new early warning signal up here. The last few early warning signals have not produced major sell-offs, and even though we were going through September and October, we did not get a lot of selling. Back here, of course, there's an early warning signal, big sell-off, early warning signal, not as big a sell-off, but significant. So we never know. We're just getting ready for some downward pressure here, maybe some profit taking, some tax selling, who knows. Seasonally, this is a strong period for the market, but you don't know what you don't know. So coming into Wednesday's trading action on the NASDAQ 100 ETF, we need to close below $513.93. Now, we are looking at the market from the point of view of a swing trader. If you're a more conservative investor, of course, you're going to need more selling before you're going to decide to get out of the market. And then, of course, if you're a long-term investor waiting for the close on Friday so you can check your stats over the weekend, you're going to even need more selling. And of course, there's those conservative long-term investors that don't necessarily check the markets every week. They're going to need more evidence. They're going to need to hear about the selling in the NASDAQ or the rest of the market over and over and over again. And then after a few weeks, they will finally give up. But that is way down at $455, and we are certainly nowhere near that on a Wednesday morning. Now, Monday turned out to be a bearish reversal day for a lot of areas of the market, and we did see fall through to the downside yesterday. Looking at the VIX for the S&P 500 is up in the channel, so a close above 1451 on Wednesday would give us a buy signal. And there's the VIX for the NASDAQ looking for a close above 1697 on Wednesday to give us a buy signal. Of course, if we get a buy signal in the VIX, that tells us that options traders are getting nervous, and that nervousness usually results in the market going down. Looking at the major index ETFs, the Dow is on a sell signal right now, second day of a sell signal. We've got the equal weighted S&P 500 on a sell signal, and now we have the equal weighted NASDAQ 100 back on a sell signal. So those big cap tech stocks that we love are still holding the market up. And then we've got the Russell 2000 on a sell signal. We also have the small cap ETF on a sell signal as of Tuesday's close. Now, looking at some of the major technology sector ETFs, so we do have a couple of sell signals here, but certainly not in the Magnificent 7 ETF, which made a new high yesterday. We were trying to get it to 56.25. We got as high as 56.22. So hopefully you had an order in just below the 56.25 level, and it got filled yesterday. You see the little wick there? Sometimes when the market thrusts higher, it does not stay there for very long. And that was certainly the case yesterday. Looking at AI stocks, they came down yesterday, sitting on the edge of a new sell signal. We had a pullback in self-driving cars yesterday. We had a pullback in cloud computing. We saw cybersecurity trade into the channel, so certainly the possibility of a sell signal on Wednesday. We've got the FANG stocks still holding up fairly well above the upper channel line. Unfortunately, digital payments is back on a sell signal as of Tuesday's close. And then looking at robotics, we're right on the edge of a new sell signal there. Another robotics ETF trading up at the upper channel line. And then we've got semiconductors. Unfortunately, they rolled over yesterday, and that is a lower high. So that is a bearish sign for the chip sector going forward. Now, speaking of technology sector ETFs, of course, you've got the ARK Innovations family. And when we start off looking at the FinTech ETF, we saw some weakness yesterday. We saw a sell signal in digital payments. We saw some weakness in this ETF. So a close below 39.43 on Wednesday would give us a sell signal there. There's the genomics ETF holding up fairly well. No change in trend, of course, for innovations. My favorite one in this group is the industrial ETF. Then we've got the internet, and then we've got space, a little weakness in space yesterday. We were trying to get to 2031, and we got as high as 2037 last week. So congratulations, you got to lock in some profits up there. Now, this particular ETF and most of the ARK ETFs look something like this, except the genomics ETF. So these are the ones that are winning. This one, not so much. I would be impressed if this one started to break out above $28, but so far it has not been able to do that. So there is love for most of the ARK Innovation ETFs, but certainly not the genomics ETF at the moment. Next up, let's take a look at the Canadian technology sector, and the iShares ETF looks pretty similar to a lot of other technology-related ETFs. We're looking for a close on Wednesday below $69.53. BlackBerry shot up on Monday, pull back on Tuesday. If you were trading BlackBerry and you had it last week, you were looking up at 391 and 410. Both of those targets were hit on Monday. Trying to get to 430, but we did have a pullback yesterday, so if we can start moving out above yesterday's high, then 430 and 449 come into play. Then looking at Celestica, close below $122.22 on Wednesday would give us a sell signal. Constellation Software is back on a sell signal as of Tuesday's close. Inside day yesterday for CGI. Inside day yesterday for Kinaxis. Then no joy for Lightspeed. We're on a sell signal right now. Shopify would need a close below $157.26 on Tuesday to give us a sell signal. And then Topicus already on a sell signal, so no change in trend there. Let's finish off today's presentation looking at a handful of big cap tech stocks, starting with Tesla, which made a new high yesterday. Cha-ching. It hit our next price target of 406.25. If we can take out yesterday's high, then 410.50 could come into play. Looking at Apple, we're trying to get to 250, got as high as 248.21 yesterday, so we might be able to hit 250 today. Now, Akamai has gone through the circle of life. We had early warning signal up here at in the middle of October. We drove down to the bottom of the panic zones. A pressure zone formed a month later in the middle of November. We started to move up. Our first target would have been the bottom of that open gap. And that certainly did hold us in check for a few days, and then we finally ran up and tagged $100. So if you had an order in to get filled at $100, congratulations. Of course, we are still in Akamai. Yesterday was an inside day, so no change in trend there. You just want to take some money off the table. Looking at Alphabet, it popped yesterday, and we were trying to get to 187.50. Didn't get there, got to 186.36 yesterday. Then looking at Advanced Micro Devices, unfortunately, this stock rolled over. So we had a buy signal, and remember, this is a very weak stock to begin with. We had a buy signal. After about 3 days, if the pros don't come back to take control, then your trade is probably going to fade. So there can be a reaction that causes a buy signal, but if we don't get money going in after that initial buy signal, if it was just a short covering rally, whatever the catalyst was to give us that buy signal, and to hold it for a few days, if the pros don't come in after that and start to accumulate stock, then your trade is going to just fade away. And that's exactly what happened with this trade. Now, remember, this is the stock that you're looking at, Advanced Micro Devices. It's under the flypaper channel, which means it's broken and the market doesn't like it. We know the market doesn't like it because there are stocks that look like this. This is NVIDIA, and the market still likes NVIDIA. So it's always best to go after stocks the market likes and not the ones the market hates. Now, in regard to NVIDIA, we're still looking to see if it can hold $131.25. It is currently on a sell signal. Now, moving on from NVIDIA to Palantir. Palantir's had quite a run over the past couple of months. We've had a whole bunch of early warning signals that did not turn into any aggressive selling. So here we are again with another early warning signal up at the top of the panic zones. If you were taking money off the table at our specific price targets, you do not have very many shares left. So congratulations. You're waiting to get kicked out on Wednesday, and that would happen if Palantir were to close below $67.24. Then we're looking at Amazon. Amazon put in a new high on Monday, small pullback on Tuesday. Then we're looking at Salesforce, which put in a new high last week and then has been drifting lower ever since. Looking for a close on Wednesday below $342.60 to give us a sell signal there. That would join CrowdStrike on a sell signal as of Tuesday's close. We also have Cisco now on a new sell signal as of Tuesday's close. Inside day for Meta on Tuesday, new high for Microsoft. Then we've got Cloudflare, new high on Monday, small pullback on Tuesday. Inside day for Netflix on Monday, new high for ServiceNow on Monday. And then we had Peloton trade back down into the channel. So we're looking for a close on Peloton below $9.36 on Wednesday to give us a sell signal. What a run this stock has had. You know, it was $4 back in August. It's now $10. That is quite a run for a stock I really wasn't watching on a regular basis. Then PayPal made a new high on Monday. We need a close below $86.79 on Wednesday to give us a sell signal to join Spotify, which is on a sell signal as of Tuesday's close, which would join Lyft and Uber, both already on sell signals coming into Wednesday's trading action. Now, if you haven't taken money off the table already, today would be a good day to do so. You don't have to completely liquidate a position unless you're being kicked out. And of course, we did see some examples of ETFs and stocks that are generating sell signals right now. And of course, those ones you're getting kicked out of. Those CPI numbers that are coming out at 8:30, they're probably going to make the market gap higher or gap lower. Just don't have a clue which way we're going to go just yet, so we'll have to wait and see. You have a great day. Next time you'll hear my voice is on Thursday morning.
Thanks for tuning in until the very end of today's stock market timing educational video. If you found the content valuable, don't forget to express your support by hitting the like button, leave a comment, sharing with your friends, and subscribing to our channel for more insightful updates. Remember, in the world of stocks, timing is crucial, and following the trend can be your greatest ally. If you would like more information on how we can help you better time the stock market, please visit theyuptrend.com.